Have you ever finished a DIY car repair and thought, "Oh, that was easy"? That feeling is exactly where things go wrong. After years of seeing these cars roll into the shop, I've watched the same DIY errors destroy engines and electronics over and over again. So today I'm breaking down 12 DIY car mistakes that mechanics warn us about the most. The shortcuts, myths, and it should be fine moments that cost drivers thousands. Stick with me because avoiding just one of these can save you thousands. Let's get into it. Mistake number 12. Ignoring the car manual. This is where most DIY mistakes begin. People watch videos, read forums, and assume all cars work the same. They don't. Your car's manual isn't filler. It's the manufacturer's blueprint for how every system was engineered to work. Fluid types, torque specs, service intervals, and even jump start procedures are vehicle-specific. Use the wrong oil viscosity, incorrect coolant, or improper torque valves, and you may not notice the problem right away. But over time, that mismatch causes premature wear, overheating, or sensor failures that lead to expensive repairs. Something as simple as incorrect tire pressure or fluid capacity can quietly reduce fuel economy or damage components. Mechanics rely on service manuals for a reason. Ignoring yours doesn't make you efficient. It makes you guess. And guessing with modern cars is how small DIY jobs turn into four-figure repair bills. And once you start guessing, the next mistake usually follows fast, using tools that don't really do the job. Mistake number 11. Using cheap or incorrect tools. Once you ignore the manual, the next shortcut usually shows up in your toolbox. Cheap or incorrect tools might look like a money saver, but they create problems you don't notice until something breaks. Low-quality sockets round bolt heads, loose tolerance wrenches slip, and undersized tools force you to apply uneven pressure. That's how bolts get stripped, fasteners get damaged, and parts that should have come off clean suddenly need drilling or replacement. It's not just frustration, it's cost. A rounded bolt can turn a simple repair into hours of labor or a tow to the shop. Cheap tools could also fail under load, snapping mid-job or causing injury or collateral damage. Mechanics invest in proper tools because precision matters, especially on modern cars with tight tolerances and aluminum components. And when tools start slipping or forcing parts, that's when the next mistake happens: reusing parts that should never go back in. Mistake number 10. Reusing old parts. When a repair starts getting harder than expected, a lot of DIYers make the same call. This part still looks okay, so I'll reuse it. And sometimes that decision doesn't fail immediately, which is why it's so tempting. The problem is many car parts are designed for one-time use. Crush washers, torque-to-yield bolts, seals, brake hardware, and timing components lose their ability to seal or hold proper tension once they've been installed and removed. Reusing them can cause leaks, vibrations, or uneven wear that slowly snowballs into bigger failures. A reused seal might drip oil weeks later. A stretched bolt might loosen under load. Old brake hardware can cause uneven pad wear and warped rotors. None of this feels dramatic in the moment, but it adds up fast and often ends in repeat labor or costly secondary damage. That said, there's an important distinction between temporary reuse and permanent shortcutting. In real-world DIY situations, availability and time constraints are real. If a component can be safely reused for a short period, and you understand its condition and risk, putting it back together temporarily isn't reckless by itself. For example, if a tie rod has minor play and has to be separated to replace an axle, it may be reasonable to reinstall it only if the play is minimal and not immediately unsafe. You already plan to replace it and you actually follow through and change it as soon as the new part is available. The mistake happens when temporary becomes permanent. When "I'll replace it next weekend" turns into months of driving, heat cycles, and wear. That's when small compromises quietly become big failures. So when parts start failing after a finished repair, many people try to compensate by cutting corners on replacements, which leads straight into the next mistake. Mistake number 9. Buying cheap aftermarket parts. Cheap aftermarket parts are one of the most common ways DIY jobs quietly go wrong. The part looks right, bolts on fine, and everything seems normal at first. But behind the scenes, lower quality materials and loose tolerances start showing their limits. Rubber hardens faster, metal wears unevenly, and electrical components drift out of spec. On critical systems, brakes, suspension, timing components, sensors, this isn't just about longevity. A poorly made part can cause secondary damage. A cheap timing component can jump. A low-quality sensor can feed bad data. And weak suspension parts can stress mounting points. That's how a $50 saving turns into a $1,200 repair. Quality aftermarket parts exist, but bargain bin parts rarely do you favors. If a component controls safety, timing, pressure, or movement, quality matters more than price. When something still feels off after the repair, most DIYers reach for tools instead of information. Mistake number 8. Not using a scan tool, especially on modern cars. Modern cars don't fail loudly anymore. They fail quietly, through sensors, modules, and data you can't see. Skipping a scan tool and relying on guesswork might have worked years ago, but today it's one of the fastest ways to misdiagnose a problem and make it worse. A basic OBD2 scan tool doesn't magically fix anything, but it gives you a starting point. It shows fault codes, live data, and system behavior that no amount of visual inspection can reveal. Without it, DIYers often replace parts blindly. Sensors, coils, valves, chasing symptoms instead of causes. That's how a simple electrical issue turns into hundreds wasted on unnecessary parts. On modern vehicles, even basic jobs can trigger stored codes or adaptive changes. Ignoring that data means you're working in the dark. Mechanics don't guess anymore. They read, verify, and confirm. And that's when the real problem isn't identified. The car keeps running just well enough to hide the damage that's building underneath. Mistake number 7. Jump-starting your car the wrong way. Jump-starting looks simple, which is why it catches so many people off guard. One clamp in the wrong place, one step skipped, and you can damage systems that never used to exist in older cars. Modern vehicles are packed with sensitive electronics, ECUs, battery management modules, start-stop systems, all of which hate voltage spikes. The most common mistake is grounding the negative cable directly on the dead battery instead of a chassis ground. That increases the risk of sparks near hydrogen gas and can send a surge through delicate control modules. Even when nothing dramatic happens, internal damage can show up later as random warning lights, charging issues, or intermittent electrical failures that are expensive to track down. Manufacturers now specify exact jump start points for a reason. Ignoring them can turn a 5-minute assist into a $1,000 plus electrical repair. Some mistakes cause instant failure. Others wait for perfect timing. And that's where precision suddenly matters more than effort. Mistake number 6. Using incorrect jack points or improper fitting. Using the wrong jack point is one of the fastest ways to turn a simple DIY job into permanent damage. Modern vehicles rely on reinforced lift points designed to support weight in very specific areas. Jacking under thin floor panels, suspension arms, or plastic shields can bend pinch welds, crack seams, damage fuel and brake lines, or crush wiring routed along the underbody. The danger isn't always immediate. A bent pinch weld might not stop the car from driving. A slightly crushed fuel line may not leak right away. But over time, those hidden stresses lead to rattles, alignment issues, uneven tire wear, or sudden failures that are difficult to trace back to one bad lift. Improper jack placement is also a major safety risk. A slipping jack or unstable lift can cause the vehicle to fall, leading to serious injury or worse. That's why manufacturers clearly mark jack points and specify lift procedures in the manual. And that's why professional shops use lifts designed to distribute weight evenly. If you're lifting a car, precision matters just as much as strength. Guessing where to place a jack isn't confidence. It's gambling with steel, gravity, and your own safety. And once a car has been physically stressed or misaligned underneath, deeper mechanical work becomes even riskier, especially with jobs where timing and precision are everything. Mistake number 5. DIY timing chain or timing belt replacement. This is one repair where confidence can do more damage than lack of tools. Timing chains and belts control the exact relationship between pistons and valves, measured in millimeters. Being off by even a single tooth is enough to turn a running engine into scrap metal, especially on interference engines where valves and pistons share the same pace. DIYers often assume this job is just another belt swap. It isn't. Proper timing work requires locking tools, precise torque valves, correct tensioning, and exact alignment procedures specific to each engine. Miss one step, rush the tensioner, or misread a timing mark, and the engine may start, only to bend valves seconds later. The result isn't a rough idle or a warning light. It's internal damage that usually means a full rebuild or replacement engine costing thousands. And even when timing is perfect, engines still fail because of something far more common: heat caused by the wrong coolant or trapped air. Mistake number 4. Incorrect coolant type, mixing, and improper bleeding. Coolant mistakes are some of the most destructive because they don't feel urgent until they are. Many DIYers top off with whatever coolant is on hand, mix different types, or refill the system without properly bleeding out air. The engine might run fine for days, sometimes weeks, which creates a false sense of safety. Different coolants use different chemical formulas. Mixing them can cause sludge, corrosion, or scale buildup inside the radiator, heater core, and water pump. Even worse, trapped air pockets prevent coolant from circulating properly. That creates hot spots inside the engine, warping cylinder heads or blowing head gaskets without much warning. This mistake shows up constantly after DIY radiator, thermostat, or hose replacements. The repair often looks successful, right until the temperature needle spikes. By then, the damage is already done, and the fix can cost several $1,000s. When overheating isn't the problem you expected, many DIYers assume something electrical is failing and start spraying cleaners where they shouldn't. Number 3. Incorrect cleaning of the throttle body and MAF sensor. Rough idle, hesitation, or stalling sends many DIYers straight for a can of cleaner. Throttle body dirty? Spray it. MAF sensor acting up? Spray that too. The problem is, these components are far more delicate than they look, especially on modern cars. Using the wrong cleaner, like brake or carb cleaner, can instantly damage a MAF sensor's thin sensing element. Even using the correct cleaner the wrong way causes trouble. Forcing open an electronic throttle plate, flooding components, or reinstalling parts before they're fully dry can lead to misfires, high idle, or permanent sensor failure. Replacing a damaged MAF or throttle body can cost anywhere from a few $100s to well over $1,000. Once cleaning doesn't fix the issue, many DIYers try to seal leaks they think they've found, usually with silicone. That's where the next mistake starts. Mistake number 2. Using silicone sealant instead of a proper gasket. This mistake usually comes from trying to fix a leak fast. A valve cover seeps, an oil pan drips, and instead of replacing the gasket, DIYers reach for household silicone or smear on extra RTV, thinking more sealant equals better sealing. Engines don't work that way. Excess silicone squeezes inward when parts are tightened. Over time, it breaks off and travels through the engine, where it can clog oil passages or the pickup screen. Oil pressure drops, bearings starve, and what started as a small leak becomes major internal damage. Repair bills can climb into the thousands. Some components do use RTV from the factory, but only specific types, applied in exact patterns and thicknesses listed in the service manual. Guessing here is risky. If a part was designed to use a gasket, use the correct gasket. Precision matters. Once sealing problems show up, many DIYers tighten fasteners harder than they should, and that opens the door to the next mistake. Mistake number 1. Over-tightening bolts and cross-threading fasteners. This is where a lot of DIY jobs truly end. Not with a bang, but with damaged threads and broken confidence. In the moment, over-tightening and cross-threading don't feel like mistakes. They feel like caution, like making sure something won't come loose. Modern cars don't reward that mindset. Aluminum components, fine thread fasteners, and torque-to-yield bolts are designed to work within narrow limits. Exceed them and the damage is immediate and permanent. Threads strip, housings crack, sealing surfaces warp. A bolt may feel tight, but it's already failed. Once threads are damaged, every repair after that becomes compromised. Oil drain plugs leak, suspension bolts won't hold torque, engine components loosen under heat and vibration. And the fix usually isn't simple. Helicoils, inserts, replacement pans, or entire assemblies quickly turn a routine job into a four-figure repair. Every torque spec exists for a reason. Tight enough to hold, loose enough to survive heat, vibration, and time. When DIYers ignore that balance, they don't just break one bolt. They break the reliability of everything attached to it. And when people look back at a failed DIY job, this is usually the moment they realize it wasn't one big mistake. It was a series of small ones stacking up. So before you try the next shortcut you saw online, take a moment and think it through. Ask yourself whether saving a few minutes or a few dollars is really worth risking damage you can't undo. If this breakdown helped you avoid one of those mistakes, hit like, share it with someone who works on their own car, and drop a comment with the worst DIY repair you've seen or experienced. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more real-world car advice that actually saves you money.